Gotta love that crunch. I think that there may be two major factors that prevent people from enjoying pickles the way that they should. One is that maybe people aren't really getting their hands on good quality pickles. So they're trying mass-produced pickles that are made at industrial scale. They're not properly fermented. They're using cheap ingredients. They really sort of lack flavor. And then worse, they have terrible texture. And then sort of a second factor that may prevent someone from enjoying pickles the way that they should is that they're afraid to make pickles themselves. So they think that the pickling process or fermentation is something that's a little bit scary. They think that it might be out of their depth. But I think that this is a recipe that addresses both of those issues. One, it is incredibly straightforward. It's really quick and it's super easy. This is called Malosольні. So this is a unique type of pickling which is done very quickly. It's typically within 24 to 48 hours. You can eat them. So this recipe is a springtime and summertime favorite. You'll see them absolutely everywhere in Slavic countries. And it is something that is just a delight. They typically don't stay long term, just because they're designed to be sort of consumed quickly. They pickle quickly and they're usually eaten quickly. And then if you go to markets, you'll see where a lot of the flavoring comes from. They sell these sort of herbal bouquets. So this sort of looks like a bouquet that you would, propose to a garden nymph with. But these bouquets come wrapped with, so this is flowering dill. So they don't use just the dill that you would get on the shelf. You use a flowering dill plant. And then you have grape leaves, you have greens, you have tarragon, you have just a wide variety of these herbs that are going to sort of donate their flavors to the pickles. So this recipe works best if you get slightly smaller cucumbers, just because the pickling process is so rapid, but you can use larger ones as well. You just want to make sure that all of the cucumbers are sort of uniform in size, just because they'll all pickle at about the same pace. This is the place that you want to start your pickling/fermentation adventure. This is a recipe that is foolproof. If you can boil water, then you can make this recipe. So I'm really excited to share this with you guys. Don't feel like you can just use these herbs. Anything that you can get your hands on that you think might add some flavor to it, feel free to experiment. And this is a recipe that's just really, really incredible. And I think that this is going to become one of your summer traditions. So let's jump right into it. Just a quick little note. That little bloop, bloop, bloop you hear, that's actually kvass fermenting currently in my kitchen. So there's a lot of experimentation going on. So if you heard that sound and are a little curious, no, I'm not suffering some sort of gastrointestinal issue. It's just fermentation. Due to the gross debris and pesticides that can be found on cucumbers, you want to give them a cold water bath for 1 to 3 hours. Manually agitating the water to ensure that your future pickles are squeaky clean. While they are soaking, you can trim and prep any additions that you want to add to your pickles. Peel garlic, ginger, horseradish, onion, etc., and cut, trim, and wash any aromatics that you plan to add. Once your cucumbers have enjoyed their spa day, you will trim both ends off. Like you're cutting a cigar, you just want to take off the tip. This will allow the brine to quickly and deeply penetrate your cucumber. With your pickle mise en place at the ready, now we can start pickling. In a 1 to 3 liter sterilized container, you will start by cramming a layer of aromatics at the bottom of your jar. Bay, dill, lime, grape, currant, oak, mustard, or horseradish leaves are popular foliage to add. But feel free to experiment, as long as they're non-toxic. If you want something more American, just add a layer of dill and bay at the bottom of your container. Now stuff the jar with pickles. All of those years of playing Tetris will finally pay off. In the middle, you can add any other spices or herbs that you'd like peppercorn, allspice, horseradish, coriander, mustard seeds, or garlic. The finer you cut these herbs, the more intense the flavor, and the shorter the brine time. Finally, you will add salt. You will likely need only 10 grams or a heaping tablespoon per half liter of pickles by container volume. Oh shit, that's too much salt. I removed the excess salt, resulting in about 50 grams of salt for 1.5 liters, which was slightly saltier than I prefer. But you can adjust to personal preferences and how long you plan to brine your pickles. The shorter the brine, the more salt you can add. Then add your boiled water. All water used in pickling needs to be boiled first, but the temperature you add the water to your pickles is up to you. Cold water will result in a vibrant, crunchy green pickle and a very cucumbery flavor. Super hot water will result in a duller, softer pickle, but with a much more intense flavor. Once the water is added, top with another layer of aromatics, but be sure that everything is submerged in brine. Anything above the waterline could possibly harbor life and ruin your pickles. Seal and leave in a dark place at room temp for 1 to 2 days. Then refrigerate following that. As time passes, the color of your pickles will darken and the brine will cloud, but they will be ready to eat in as little as 24 hours. Depending on your salt levels, temperatures, and brine time, you can adjust your pickle preference until you hit that Goldilocks zone, where things are just perfect for you, your family, and friends. But with my traditional yet intense herbal bouquet, high salt, and longer brine time, how did my pickles come out? So here we are, 4 full days later. 2 days out of the fridge, 2 days in the fridge, so it sort of retains some of that color and the texture, but the flavor should be incredibly intense. So I'm really excited to try these. Here you'll see at the top, it's free of any mold or discoloration. If you see anything fuzzy at the top of your pickles, you need to toss it out. Okay, so we're going to give this a go. The aroma is really incredible. I sampled these at 24 hours, but that was not my intent to eat them within 24 hours. So I think I'm just going to save that clip for Patreon, if anyone wants to see that. But these should be good to go. These have lost a bit of their color. As you can see, they're a little more dull. They've lost some of that vibrancy, but they should still have the really crisp texture, but with a really intense flavor that is just beginning to sour. And just for note, if you ever see any pickles anywhere for sale that have been sort of circumcised like this, then you'll know that they're made with this sort of Malosольні quick pickle prep. Otherwise, they just leave the pickles whole. So this should be really intense, really flavorful, and still crisp. It's got a really nice bite to it. The flavor from the added herbs are really, really delightful. The salt has penetrated this. So this is sort of like the maximum level of salinity that I would like to have in a pickle. As I sort of mentioned earlier, I had some difficulty in salting this. I think that I would say probably 3 heaping tablespoons of salt would be proper for a 1.5 liter container. I think I did much more than that, but they're still quite good. The more salt you use, the quicker they're ready. So if you're going to have these ready in 24 hours, then more salt is fine because it doesn't have the time to penetrate. I'm going to give you guys just a bit of a cross section as well. You can see that it's still retained its texture and its firmness. On the ends, it looks like it's starting to sort of lose that color as the salt and the flavor sort of penetrate into it. On the inside, you can see it's really, really started actually pickling that. It's just started to turn sour, and obviously the aromatics are sort of at work here, so it's got really punchy flavors. A little too much salt in these for sure, but really incredible. Using the floured dill really adds a whole lot of complexity. You can use just normal dill, but this is just so much more deeper. And then the little bits of tarragon that I used in here, I was worried that it would overwhelm things, but it's really mellowed with time. And the garlic and the horseradish really add big pops to it as well. And then the other aromatics, much less defined. But there you go. These probably won't survive very long just because I'm a pickle addict. But I really hope that this is something that you guys explore at home. Don't feel afraid to try and ferment things on your own. It's not as scary as you think. And there's a whole world of really incredible things out there around the world of pickling. And this is the best place to start. So guys, thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that you try this one for yourself because it really is a really cool skill to pick up. So thanks again for your time. And as always, till next time.